All right, welcome back to the NSCSA Esports State Tournament. Today we'll be starting off with some Starcraft 2 of IAmCoolMan versus Yogg. IAmCoolMan is from Nebraska City. Name is Anthony Robinson, plays Protoss and is a senior this year. Meanwhile, Yogg is Ryan Busam, also a senior, playing Protoss. And he is from Omaha, Skutt. And we will be starting off the matches here shortly.
All right, everybody, we're going to get things kicked off here for Starcraft.
As we're loading in here, remember that Starcraft has the gentleman's agreement of not crossing the middle of the map before the 4-minute mark.
On the left-hand screen is going to be the match. Division 1 Cal from Kearney.
Up in the top left-hand corner, we have IAmCoolMan playing with the light blue Protoss probes. And in the bottom right, we have Yogg playing with the red drones. Starting out with a pylon in the main base for Yogg, IAmCoolMan sending out his first probe towards the low ground. Starting out with a wall-off. Excellent decision considering that he's playing into another Protoss who might try to rush him at the 4-minute mark. IAmCoolMan getting maxed out, however, a little bit late on that pylon, slowing him down a little bit.
We will not be having the streamed audio from our casters coming over. We're going to be playing.
Gateway starting up. Both gateways started. Yogg's will be slightly faster, but at the disadvantage of not having a wall off. Vespene extractors also starting up. The importance of resources in StarCraft is you need both in order to build things. We're going to have minerals are your base resources, you need them for everything, and then anything above your base level units and upgrades are going to require Vespene gas, which is mined from these small geysers up here. You have to build a building over them before you can start sending in workers to mine them. Starting off here, you can see that Yogg went for both extractors at the same time, kind of slowing his mineral production to make sure that he can start getting gas faster. Both mining up. Definitely about equal on the mineral income, but a little bit higher on the side of IAmCoolMan here. Surprising considering that there was more Vespene extractors taken on the side of our red Protoss. Red Protoss also opting for a Zealot over their Cybernetics core first. Now, the Cybernetics core is key because it allows you to research the upgrade warp gates, allowing you to instantly spawn in units from your gateways instead of waiting for the production timer, along with a short cooldown. As you can see, IAmCoolMan is also working on his Cybernetics core and is completing his wall-off shortly. Second base started up for IAmCoolMan, meaning he will reach a bonus in his production, ensuring that he will be making more money here shortly over our red Protoss. Red Protoss has the Zealot standing down here, making sure that they won't be having anything sneaking up on them. Definitely going very tight defense around his first base, maybe expecting an early game move out from IAmCoolMan. We're here about the 2-minute 30-second mark. We've got a minute 30 left before our matches really start kicking off. Second base finishing up and Chrono Boosted. Chrono Boost is ability from the Protoss Nexus that increases the speed of production for a structure temporarily, meaning that IAmCoolMan will begin to get an even stronger lead in the economic factor. Being behind in economy is a very bad thing in StarCraft because it means that they will be able to build more faster. The more you can build faster, the better. Although we are a little bit overmining on the side of our red Protoss here.
Sorry, I'm just deleting something.
This could come in interesting, bud. Under our rules. Looks like
All right. We have warp gates being researched on both sides. Side of red will finish up faster, but they are at an economic disadvantage, meaning that they won't be able to produce as much, and also choosing to warp in units. Cancel the Zealot. Excellent choice, making sure that we can get up to that warp gate transition, start warping in units faster, going up to a third gateway. We have a robotics facility that hasn't made anything yet, but I expect to see probably a warp prism here. We have an observer heading over to the other side of the map. This is one of the few units that you are allowed to send across the center of the map before the match hits the 4-minute mark, as it cannot attack. It is only for observing, as hence the name. However, IAmCoolMan does have photon cannons, which allow you to see invisible units. As you can see, there's a kind of a glimmer over this unit here. It means that you cannot see it without something that provides you vision. It's going to run away here after scouting out the fact that IAmCoolMan does have a Stargate that allows him to spawn in air units. He also has that robotics facility allowing him to warp in Immortals, which are a strong ground-based siege unit. They deal massive damage to a single target and have strong shields. Some other units in the side of our blue Protoss army here are the Stalker, which is a ranged unit. It has the ability called Blink that you have to research. I'm not unsure if that has been researched yet. Let me just check that here. It has not been researched. However, this is a lot of Zealots from Yogg here. Zealots are only melee champs, so if he gets a shield down so they can't get into the main base. This is effectively splitting his army. Plus, on top of that, we have some higher tech structures from IAmCoolMan, meaning that he'll be able to defend this push fairly easily. Not a lot of damage done. No losses for IAmCoolMan whatsoever. A perfect defense. Only some HP lost on some units. An important thing about Protoss is with shield batteries and other things such as it, you can regen this blue health bar on your units. That is your shields. Shields regen automatically anyway. You can just speed up the process with shield batteries, but you cannot heal your base level health. So these units that have lost their health, have the orange or yellow health bars, are actually going to be lower HP no matter what happens in this game. However, again, our Yogg has lost 1,100 units worth of minerals, meaning that that economic disadvantage is getting pushed to the forefront. He seems to only be going Zealots. A single Immortal on the back of this, going up to a Stargate as well. Definitely interesting match that's shaping up. We have a Probe, a Pylon, Observer. He should be aware of this base that's being taken here. He can see it using this Observer here, but he will prevent any other expansions. Yogg doing an excellent job of trying to prevent his opponent from growing more, but not doing a good enough job, as you can see this base finishing up. 42 probes to 23. That is a definite disadvantage in the economic factor, almost double the amount of workers, meaning that, as you can see here at the bottom, these little plus symbols next to their mineral count is how much they're making per second. You can see that he is only making about 700 minerals per second, while IAmCoolMan is making almost 1,400, doubling the mineral income. This highly zealot-based army is still in existence here. Out on the production tab, you can see that second base coming up. We can see a fleet beacon for Yogg. I'm not sure he has the resources to go into Skydos here. I would love to... Yep, the second base has started up. I actually missed that. I apologize. Second base is about halfway done, meaning that he'll be able to roll over units. As you can see, there is a limited amount of resources in each little area they can get resources from, meaning it will eventually run out and they have to transfer their workers to another base. A Dark Shrine starting up as well with some Phoenix play. We have 2 Stargates on the side of IAmCoolMan pumping out Void Rays. Void Rays are an excellent unit against Protoss because most of their units are armored. And Void Rays have a temporary boost that allow them to deal extra damage to armored units per second. Still running on, I would say, only 1 base economy for Yogg here. Well, IAmCoolMan is getting up to almost 3 bases worth of economy. This might just be a rollover for Yogg, even though he's doing an excellent job of making sure that he's teching up. He doesn't have the resources to compare. Closing in on the 8-minute mark here. We haven't seen any major fights, but I'm expecting to see a move out here as soon. We get carriers starting up. Fleet beacon finished up. That means that carriers. Now, carriers are an excellent unit for the Protoss because they aren't the unit that fights themselves. They have these things called interceptors. Each one has 6. Interceptors deal damage for them. Kind of looks like a cloud of hornets. Definitely a lot of AFK workers. I'm not sure how to feel about that, as it feels like a waste. Blink for the Dark Templar starting up, along with Blink for the regular Stalkers on the side of Yogg here. Excellent choices, but I fear that the air army advantage here for the side of IAmCoolMan is just going to roll him over, as he is mostly building units that can't hit air. Zealots can't hit air, Immortals can't hit air. They've got 3 Stalkers here, which will definitely be useful, along with 3 Phoenixes. Phoenixes are useful as well. Warp Prism heading out to the other side of the map. Warp Prism is an interesting unit. It lets you pick up units and store them inside. And you can also, I expect we'll see it happen here soon, transform it to generate an energy field from which you can warp in units. Looks like we're warping in a couple of Dark Templar on the other side of the map here. Were you doing a Dark Templar run by? He scouted that photon cannon earlier. I think this is a misplay on the side of Yogg. You really don't want to be running invisible units into something that detects it. Choosing to go for the secondary base. Still some photon cannons, though, instantly cleaned up. Only a loss of 2 workers. This is nowhere near the sacrifice that a Dark Templar is worth, considering that Dark Templar are worth 75 minerals and 125 gas each. That is a major loss. Blink finishing up for our Dark Templar. Warp Prism's still down here at the bottom.
So we're gonna quickly exit out of that. Because we have to create it with a mod to make sure we got
I really feel like IAmCoolMan is just kind of sitting on his hands here when he could definitely just engage and win the match. He's dragging out a match, but he also hasn't scouted. Is still letting this observer just sit here and scout his stuff. Unfortunately, Yogg isn't reacting to the scouting information that he's getting and not really building against the Skydos army. I'd love to see more Stalkers. Now that you have Blink, you should really be using that to get more Stalkers so you can blink underneath those carriers and take them out. If you know that your opponent is going for so many, you can just see the difference the economy is making in this production tab here. More units, more upgrades, everything just going on the side of IAmCoolMan. A whole 1,000 mineral income difference. Army finally moving out. A bunch of hallucinated colossi here to try to soak some of the damage. I just don't think Yogg has a chance here. His army was taken out almost instantly. Very disappointing. And the extension falls. Workers set to automatically walk back out. They'll get caught by the enemy army. Just kind of running to their deaths there. I'd like to see some focusing on the pylons. As you can see, when the pylon goes down, these buildings become unpowered and can no longer finish their work. There we go. The retargeting onto the pylons, taking out the Dark Shrine because they don't have any vision on this side of the map. Dark Templar could do some work here, but probably not enough to save the game, as half of the army is air. More and more units falling, 24 workers down. No power to any of his troop-producing structures. This looks like game. And GG is called. Looking at her score screen here, you can already kind of see what built the major difference. Yogg definitely had some better stuff, but had disadvantages too. IAmCoolMan was better using his resources, as you can see with the average unspent resources here. He was supply capped a little bit longer. That means that he couldn't build any more units because he maxed out the limit before building more pylons. He had 66 to 38 workers. That's almost a double worker difference, meaning that that income will just be stronger. 75 APM to 41. APM is just a number, unfortunately, as lower APM people usually can pull out wins despite that. But as you can see here on the score summary tab, 24,000 in resources.
We're going to stick with dragon scales again, so you could just hit play again, but still wait until they're ready.
Okay. As you can see, definitely a lot of points advantage here. More structures, more units, more technology, more resources. Just a landslide on the side of IAmCoolMan. 133 units to 63. Just a lot of differences here that made the game. You can see this army value graph here. It was just a slow and painful defeat for Yogg. We'll be launching into our second map here shortly. Starcraft has played best 2 out of 3. We'll be playing Dragon Scales again, and I guess we will see what else can happen here.
Go ahead and invite them and stuff.
Even if it is a little legendary. And it looks like Kala only sees that he has a warp gate and does not try to go into the main.
And as you can see here, he managed to see the warp gate and the cybernetics core.
But he does not know he's getting a second Nexus.
But Kala starting up.
Launching into our second match of Protoss v Protoss. We'll be starting up here shortly.
Looks like Kala is now starting to spread his creep with a little bit.
Launching in again. Remember that 4-minute limit is playing into this a lot.
And it's used because it's effective. He's also queuing up 2 more drones and an Overlord. The Overlord for the Zerg is their supply.
Just like how the pylon is. A pylon, the best way to describe it would be like a creep mixed with supply. It allows you to build stuff on it, gives you vision, but it acts as supply. Now,
Playing in the bottom right hand once again, we have Yogg with the red Protoss pieces. And in the top right, we have IAmCoolMan. Launching into the second round.
That will regen faster.
oh, and looks like he's also starting to space.
It's up top. It's main.
Oh, he had to hit it.
He's putting it back there, so just in case Kala does send an Overlord over, he will not see it unless he decides to
Starting up a gateway, does he have the warp gate upgrade? No, he does not. Interesting. Oh, he's researching it right now.
pretty much.
Once again going for the wall off from IAmCoolMan here, while Yogg going for the building inside his base. As you can see, the effect of the wall off in that second match, it entirely repelled Yogg's attack, but meanwhile, when Yogg had the attack come against him, he had no defenses.
And it looks like Kala is making somewhat of an army with a couple Zerglings into Queen.
Working on our workers, making sure we're rallying.
Leroy Jenkins.
Yogg, unfortunately, not switching his rally point for his workers off to his Vespene geyser, meaning that he will have to manually transfer them. Also chrono boosting. Unfortunately, might hit a supply cap. No supply cap here for him. An important thing to note, as you can see here, these 2 numbers, 19 out of 23 currently. 19 is the amount of supply you're currently taking out with your units, and 23 is the maximum. Well, for Protoss, you build pylons to increase your supply count. The max supply count is 200. Once again, a little bit of an advantage here from the side of light blue. A little bit of a delay on that probe, but to be expected because of the build of the cybernetics core. Fortunately, leaving a little bit of a gap here in between your cybernetics core and your gateway. A small misplay. Hopefully that won't affect too much later. Gateway up, Zealot spawning, cybernetics core, and a second gateway on the way. As you can see, Yogg is choosing to build more troop-producing structures, while IAmCoolMan is focusing on a second nexus, meaning that he'll reach the economic advantage. Gateway research should pop up for both teams here. A bit of a delay. Oh my. Have we forgotten our gateway upgrade? It appears we have. This is a major misplay from the side of IAmCoolMan. This is going to slow down his troop production. He also hit a supply cap. Second pylon about to finish up. Units starting to spawn in. Goes for an Adept first. Adept aren't very good against Protoss, however. This unit will probably just be thrown away pretty fast.
But they will take care of everything.
Other way around. Ravagers actually end up attacking
Oh,
faster,
really?
but they're squishier. They have less health. But a cool thing about Ravagers is that their corrosive bile can actually eat away at Protoss shield, which is going to be extremely helpful.
No
considering that
real
he has
major
a shield
changes from the
back.
previous match here, other than that forgetting the gateway
It
upgrade.
is a good one.
I'd like to see a chrono boost pop down on it to make sure that it won't get in the way.
Which is weird.
Closing in on the 4-minute mark here, you can see the Zealots starting to group up, doing that same tactic from last time of just having a massive amount of Zealots for the first fight. Going up more and more gateways, almost up to 4. 4th one starting up, 3rd one almost done. More Zealots getting done, the Observer starting to fly across the map, and Charge. Now the Charge is an upgrade for the Zealot. I didn't really talk about it last match because I didn't get the chance. It's upgraded from the Twilight Council, but what it does, it allows Zealots to sprint at a much higher speed at your opponents, allowing them to get into places you normally wouldn't expect if you don't have your wall off filled in. No unit in the wall off. So the thing about Protoss is there's no buildings that you can raise or lower or move out of the way in your wall offs, so you have to use a unit to plug the hole. No unit to plug this hole though. Observer finishing up on the side of IAmCoolMan as well. Looks like we're going to see A probe moving across here, trying to block the expansion. Playing around the fact that he saw this expansion being the one that was used last time. Zealot's starting to move across the map. It is the 4-minute, 20-second mark, meaning that they can move across. Warp Gate finally finishing up for the side of IAmCoolMan, but as it is just done, you can see the difference in the amount of units he was able to get in. With 4 Warp Gates on the side of Yogg, he's able to spawn in units a lot faster. Another pylon finishing up. Pylons generate energy fields from which you can warp in units. It's going to be a slower warp in, as you'll notice, than in the main base, because if you warp in with a gateway on your pylon, or if it's close enough to a nexus, you get increased warp in speed. Second Immortal about to finish up for the side of IAmCoolMan. This is definitely a defendable rush. Ooh, did he get vision of... He did not get vision of the engage, so it's going to get in through the wall off. But Yogg choosing to back out. That was a mistake. I think Yogg could have won that fight if he had just kept engaging. Now he's just going to have a bunch of zealots that won't be able to do much because they're playing against an entirely ranged army. See a zealot warping in. Gateway about Stargate finishing up here. And we hit another supply block. IAmCoolMan not really getting on top of his supply cap here. Second base starting up for Yogg. Glad to see that much faster than our previous match. Meaning that although there was a definite income difference here in the early game, it might even out eventually. Shield upgrade starting up for both teams. I don't believe this is the correct choice. Shield is your secondary upgrade. You want to get attack first because it cancels out any other upgrade that your opponents can go for. Attack will make sure your opponent's army dies faster, no matter what, meaning that their damage will be reduced as well. Although shield upgrades are definitely more worthwhile if the game will go the distance, because the upgrade applies to all Protoss units, not just their ground units. This upgrade applies to buildings, it applies to air units, it applies to just about everything. One of the few things you can actually upgrade on a worker. As you can see, he's definitely still getting scouting. We get a Void Ray here, forcing the Zealots to go on the offensive into the main base. Yogg once again getting into the base. IAmCoolMan keeps hotkeying his workers, or keeps hotkeying his plug out of the way so they can just get in and deal damage. 4 workers going down. That's a major misplay. Not major enough to make up a difference in the match, though. Still seeing a definite difference in mineral and other income. Going for some solid defense here.
And it looks like we are going back to good old dragon scales for the final right here. And this match will decide who wins.
This photon cannon, unfortunately, not in range of the main base, being forced to draw back out here, and the Stalker falls.
I know, I'm excited.
Along with the other observer, meaning that Yogg will no longer be getting scouting information.
1-1. This could be anyone's game right now.
Going to clean out this static defense, making sure that it's not going to get in the way of his expansion. Once again, you can see the economic advantage starting to force its way into this match, kind of making sure that no matter what Yogg does, he's not going to be able to catch up. With everything, investing resources into getting more resources will definitely always be the advantage. Unfortunately, IAmCoolMan has not noticed that he is maxed out on workers here, but not over here. As you can see, only 1 Stargate this match instead of going up to 2 like last time. Void Ray is still here, which is good. A lot of pylons because we hit another supply block, or was about to. I think we'll hit a full 200 supply with these pylons. No, we won't. Single probe here, hoping to scout something. 2 Stargates, 4 gateways. We see our first carrier pop up on the production tab on the side of Yogg. I don't think a single carrier is going to just make up the massive difference in units here. 12 Stalkers, 4 Immortals, 5 Void Rays, 4 Sentries, and 2 Zealots for IAmCoolMan versus 3 Stalkers and a Void Ray for Yogg. I don't think there's a lot that can be done here.
25 time limit or else.
Yeah, because we do not have all the time in the world for this, unfortunately.
Sadly, we do not.
Robotics facility, cybernetics war. We got all the base level stuff here.
I mean, they were pretty awesome.
+1 melee upgrades researching in the forge as well. After getting the shields, this is a good idea. going for a lot of static defense here at the expansion, playing like he's going to get harassed, but Yogg isn't even going for the... An unfortunate misplace on the Nexus. That's going to mean that mining isn't going to be as efficient. As you can see, resources are going to have to go from all the way over here to here, while normally it would only have to go that far. Second carrier up, going into a third. And a Phoenix. Phoenixes can only hit up. Supply blocked. Very unfortunate for Yogg. Supply blocked at 73 supply. For a carrier he was attempting to build, it takes 6 supply and he only has 5 available. So he's building some more. He's building pylons in his mineral line. An unfortunate decision because this means that his workers have to go around them every time they want to mine. As you can see, IAmCoolMan just never stops building workers, resulting in a 63 to 43 worker and 91 army to 36. A very unfortunate difference here. Does not catch this observer, catching most of his land army walking towards the opponent. Unfortunately, Yogg doesn't seem to catch that either. Enemy army starting to group up against Yogg here. And I think we will see the end of the game here. Mothership on the production tab, ensuring that even if the game is not over here, it won't take much longer. Building starting to go down. Carriers trying to play back, make sure that they keep their interceptors up, but it just seems to be overwhelming Yogg here. No way to wall them off, and all of his Stargate production has gone down. He was really relying on that in order to get stuff done. Final carrier about to go down. Now he's stuck only with gateway units, warping in 4 stalkers at a time. It's nothing compared to this 111 supply army for IAmCoolMan. Units slowly getting melted down. 19 workers. This appears to be the end. I sincerely doubt that there's anything that can be done here on the side of our Red Protoss to survive. An unfortunate final match for our red player, as he will be into the loser's side of the tournament for our state bracket, playing for 3rd or 4th overall in the division as soon as this game is GG'd out. IAmCoolMan advancing to our finals, playing for 1st or 2nd. And we will return shortly for that.